Hello learners, welcome back to another session of learning and development in organization. Today we'll look into high performance organizations. Have you ever wondered why some organizations are the go-to organizations or they are known as high performance organizations? So it has clear correlation with what we are discussing nowadays, learning and development in organization. So we'll discuss more on high performance organizations today. I am Dr. Cyril Issac. I am an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now, when you look into high performance organization, today's underlying theme would be, it ain't that difficult to get to the top. Staying there is the hard part. Many a time if you have climbed up the ladder, climbed up the hierarchy, you will see that climbing up or reaching to the top or reaching to a particular position is not the toughest part. The toughest part is always to be the top, be the the person who always people look up to. Be the individual who is always a solution provider to all the problems. Be the person who is consistently the go-to person for the organization. So staying in the top is always a difficult. So let's look into those characteristics which make an organization high performance organization. And it's not just climbing the ladder. I'm talking about staying there at the top and being the high performance organization. Let's look into that, what it takes for an organization, what it actually requires for an organization to be the high performance organization. What is high performance organization? A high performance organization is one that achieves financial and non-financial results that are better than those of its peer group or the peer set of organization or counterparts or a period of at least 5 to 10 years. So within a time frame, you are consistently beating your competitor or you are consistently ahead of your competitor. You do not have any other competitor who can set or score against you or be at the same level or at par with you. Then you are a high performance organization. Something which I want you to typically note here is the financial and non-financial part. If you have observed, many a time most of the success, be it individual, most probably with respect to the organization, we always categorize success into a bucket which is financial. If you are in a sound financial position, you are successful, be it as an individual. Let me take a philosophy part here. If you are a successful individual in the society, means you are rich, you are wealthy. Similarly, an organization is meant to be successful if financially it is sound, but that's not the case. We are not only looking into, yes, financial is important, but we are not only looking into financial, but also looking into the non-financial part. This is what makes an organization high performance organization. And remember, consistency is a buzzword. It is not like you are high performance organization in quarter of this particular financial year, next quarter you are not like that. So it should not be inconsistent. Your growth, your performance, your travel, your journey, everything should be consistent with what you got and how you are going to make your product or service for that matter. Let's understand it in a more detailed fashion. When you are looking into high performance organizations, typically you are looking into enterprises that over time continue to produce outstanding results with the highest level of human satisfaction and commitment to success. Please note, most of my definitions, operational definitions or functional definitions and explanations with respect to construct or concept is highly empirically tested and proved. So I take a lot of backing from the empirical research, and that's how you see all these citations. This particular definition is from Blanchard 2018. So when you look into high performance organizations, extensive research including a review of over 280 studies conducted over the past 30 years confirm that high performance organizations significantly outperform non-HPOs, that is non-high performance organization, in financial performance, customer satisfaction and loyalty. So this is not only with respect to financial, as I mentioned. Financial is one of the significant aspect. It is also with respect to customer satisfaction. It is also with respect to loyalty. It is also with respect to employee retention for that matter. So, when you are looking into all these aspects, including the quality of the products and services, needless to say, whatever the organization is rendering, it looks into all these significant aspects. So, when you are looking into high performance organizations, especially the focus is this. So, this particular research, DeWalt 2008, identifies 5 high performance organization factors and 35 characteristics that determine whether an organization becomes and stays a HPO or not. So, this particular session would focus on typically all these factors and the characteristics. Let us look into that. The 5 HPO factors and their characteristics. When you are looking into management quality, the first factor, it is all about strong leadership, which is the foundation of high performance organizations. So, managers, they build trust, respect employees and maintain integrity by being honest, ethical and role model for others. So, they make decisive, the action oriented decisions, supporting employee growth, and they ensure accountability for performance. So, effective leaders communicate values clearly and align the organization with strategic goals. When you look into the characteristic of this particular factor, management is trusted by organizational members. Management has to have what we know as integrity, a role model for organizational members. That should be the clear case of this HPO. Management applies fast decision making, fast action taking. Management coaches organizational members to achieve better results, because this is vital. You cannot have an organization with high and fast decision making, action taking, but zero results. Better results are always expected. Management focuses on achieving these results which are expected. Management is very effective. The moment you achieve the results, you are effective. The management applies the strong leadership, is confident and is decisive with regard to non-performers. So, there is a way to handle, there is a way to deal with the non-performers. When you look into the second factor and the characteristics, you will see that HPOs, high performance organizations, they foster a culture of transparency and collaboration. Management values this employee input, encourages the dialogue in the particular organization and involves staff in key decisions typically. So, we are looking into risk taking and learning from mistakes that are embraced, driving continuous improvement. So, change is welcome and knowledge sharing is prioritized to enhance the performance and adaptability. Let us have a quick look at the characteristics. We will understand that management typically, frequently engages in dialogue with the employee. So, it is not a unilateral arrangement, it is democratic setup. You have organizations typically where the organizational members typically spend much time on this open dialogue, communication, knowledge exchange, learning, etc. You also see that organizational members are involved in important processes. So, this is not like a set of people are not taken into consideration, they do not have any say. All these aspects are not there in case of high performance organizations. Management allows making mistakes, it welcomes change and the organization is typically performance driven. Please note this, because the moment you see that this organization is a high performance organization, it will be performance driven. Please note, I am being reminded of a particular incident. When you are looking into it, there are different facets of this particular incident or story rather. So, let us say you see that a particular instance of a rock being lying there. So, one of our esteemed colleague mentioned this particular incident where he was going across this particular big rock that was being kept in a area grading facility. So, most of the areas were cleared, sand or soil was put, and the area grading was done, except this big rock. This was not removed. So he asked after a couple of years, still that rock is there, why you are not removing it? So the response came like, let's say it's just a rock, it's stagnant, it does not cause any harm. So the moment you are dynamic, the moment you move, the moment you perform something, you are bound to make mistakes. And this is what the typical nature of human beings are. And if you are not ready to accept those mistakes and not ready to take the suggestions, you are not a person who welcomes change. Please make no mistake in understanding that there are only two types of people who do not make mistakes. One, a child who is not born, and second, a person who is in the grave. So everybody else in this world makes a mistake. So please, when you look into high performance organizations, typically these high performance organizations, they have a rendering of accepting change, and this acceptance towards change comes only when you typically are open to mistakes. You are okay with people making mistakes and getting corrected, and that is how the performance improves, and that is how the organization becomes performance driven. Now let's look into long-term orientation as a factor. The moment you discuss long-term orientation, this high performance organizations typically prioritize long-term commitment over short-term gains, extending this dedication to all the stakeholders. So employees are there, customers are there, suppliers are there, and society is there. So the characteristics typically are, it maintains a good and long-term relationship with all the stakeholders. It is aimed at servicing the customers, that's the most important aspect, as best as possible, and it grows through partnerships with suppliers or customers. So management has been with the company for a long time, so you're not talking about some short-term commitment. The organization thus becomes a secure workplace for organizational members, and new management is always promoted from within the organization. So somebody who is working hard, somebody who is putting his day and night for the organization, they are rewarded rather than just somebody being brought from the outside world. That is the beauty of high performance organization. They always reward the people who have long-term orientation and are part of the organization for a longer period of time. Now, when you look into specifically the continuous improvement as a factor, HPOs, high performance organizations, focus on ongoing improvement and innovation. So there is a continuous innovation urge that sets themselves apart with adaptive strategies. So they streamline processes, eliminate inefficiencies, and rigorously track performance to drive progress. Transparency in reporting ensures all employees contribute to improvement efforts. So by continuously innovating products, services, and if you ask me, core competencies, HPOs maintain a competitive edge and respond swiftly to market changes. Let's quickly look into the characteristics. You'll see that these high performance organizations, when you're talking about continuous improvement, they have adopted a strategy that sets it clearly apart from others in the organization. It has processes that are continuously improved, continuously simplified, and continuously aligned. Please note, everything that matters to performance is explicitly reported. Many a time you see some organizations, though on the paper it comes as very open organization, in the media it comes as very open organization, open to change and all those things, but many of the performance matters are not explicitly reported. There are always some shreds, some shades of gray, some shreds of knowledge hiding that are there. So when you are actually looking into a high performance organization, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everything that matters to performance is explicitly reported. You are looking into both financial and non-financial information that is reported to members. This is the point that I made in the beginning itself as part of the underlying theme of the lecture. So you look into organization, you see that both financial and non-financial information is reported to the members. It continuously innovates its core competencies, it continuously innovates its products, process and services. So the innovation specific to core competencies, specific to its products, specific to its processes, specific to its services are there when you are looking into high performance organization. Now let's look into the workforce quality. High performance organizations typically, if you ask me, are companies that build a diverse, skilled and adaptable workforce to handle complex challenge and drive innovation. So typically, if you ask me, they invest in continuous development through training, through partnerships and skill building. So employees are empowered, they are held accountable. That is also vital, because not only empowering, so with power comes accountability. They are also encouraged to find creative solutions. They are also encouraged to find creative solutions for achieving exceptional results. So when you look into the characteristics of these high performance organization vis-a-vis workforce quality, you will see that management always holds organizational members responsible for their results. Management inspires organizational members to accomplish extraordinary results. Organizational members, if you ask me, they are trained to be resilient, they are trained to be flexible. And finally, the organization has a diverse and complementary workforce. So these are typical characteristics associated with workforce quality when you look into high performance organization. Now let's look into the key to sustain success with respect to high performance organization. So please recollect all the 5 HPO factors that we have discussed. Please note they are interconnected, meaning the progress in one area enhances the others. So a company that prioritizes these 5 factors consistently outperform their peers, while those neglecting them fall behind. So a critical distinction would be long-term commitment. You are looking into HPOs which emphasize sustainable growth, significantly improving performance. So the 5 HPO factors that are interconnected, but please note different sectors require tailored approaches. It's not that you can have a one fit or one size fits all type of solution. So this is where we look into some of the aspects, like profit driven companies must focus on all the 5 factors. There is no exception to that. But when you're looking into non-profits, they should prioritize more on openness, long-term commitment and continuous improvement. They can skip the other factors that are not relevant to them. When you're looking into typical government agencies, they need to strengthen their management quality. So industry specific priorities also exist, if you ask me. For example, you look into financial services. Financial services typically should first enhance the management quality, while if you ask me, the healthcare must focus on the continuous improvement part. So to become an high performance organization, organizations must, to become an HPO, organizations must identify the most critical factors for their industry and implement targeted strategies for sustained success. Now let's move into the HPO scores model. HPO scores model is interesting because Carew, Kandarian, Parisi, Carew and Stoner developed the HPO scores model, which identifies 6 key elements found in every high performing organization. So our focus is typically on this HPO scores. We'll start with S, that is shared information and open communication. It should be transparent and accessible information that enables employees to make informed decisions. So when you are looking into sharing of information, you are essentially looking into informed decisions. So open communication fosters trust, it fosters collaboration and a sense of ownership among team members, reducing internal conflicts and increasing organizational agility. You look into compelling vision, the C factor, a clear and inspiring vision, if you ask me, unites employees around shared goals and values. So this strong sense of purpose energizes and motivates people, aligning with their personal values with the organization's mission, so resulting in a focused and driven workforce. Then you have ongoing learning. You look into ongoing learning, organization knowledge and capabilities. You see that high performance organizations continuously improve their capabilities through structured learning systems, through what we understand as knowledge sharing and skill development. So they foster both individual and organizational learning altogether, ensuring that everyone strives for growth and excellence. You look into other factors, you will see that there is a criticality with respect to R, which is a relentless focus on customer results. You look into the further aspects of HPO's course model, you will see that there is a relentless focus on customer results. When I am talking about this, you are looking into these organizations which prioritize understanding their customers. When you are talking about understanding, it is both internal and external, and measure their success based on customer satisfaction. So they achieve exceptional outcomes by maintaining a strong customer-centric approach. Then you have energizing systems and structures. If you look into HPOs, they design the systems, the processes and structures to align with the vision and goals. So these elements, they support efficiency, they support adaptability and even quick responses. To challenges while ensuring that employees can perform their roles effectively. And finally, you have the shared power and high involvement. In high performance organizations, decision making and authority are distributed across all levels rather than being centralized at the top. So collaboration, teamwork and active participation are essential elements of the organization's culture. So when employees feel valued and respected, please note, they have access to information and are empowered to make impactful decisions. They become strong contributors to the company's mission and goals. If they are not valued and respected, this might not be the case. So this creates a sense of both individual and collective power within the organization. So when you are looking into this high performance model, HPO's course model, you typically see that there are these factors which typically give an idea about your organization, whether it is HPO or not. I would like to take a cue from the above discussion and state that if you feel as an individual within your organization, you are valued, you are respected, you have a say in the decision, you have a typical democratic environment where you can raise your point, and there is enough psychological safety in your work environment. It's a conducive environment where nobody will ridicule you, nobody will actually make fun of you when you put forward an idea. You are looking into a high performance organization, because that is one of the most important criteria, if you ask me, what we understood from the HPO's course model. If you are being valued as an individual employee, if you are being respected as an individual employee, that is what makes an organization an HPO, a high performance organization. We'll come up with more details of learning and development in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.